The fire remembers what cities try to forget. Tonight's story is not about ghosts. It is about power, and how it survives burial. Minister Gabriel Adikono died on a Tuesday morning, when the city was still waking up and pretending to be innocent. His convoy had left his Ikoyi residence just before sunrise. 3 black SUVs. No sirens. No noise. The minister liked his power quiet. At 6:42 a.m., a fuel tanker jackknifed across the Third Ring Expressway. At 6:44 a.m., the city smelled burning rubber and panic. By 6:58 a.m., Gabriel Adikono was officially gone. The announcement came before the smoke cleared. Tragic accident, claims Infrastructure Minister. The city accepted it the way it accepted traffic, angrily, briefly, then with resignation. By noon, billboards had changed. By evening, radio hosts were speaking softly, as if grief could be performed convincingly enough to become real. Nora Okoye listened from the back seat of a crowded Danfo bus, phone glowing in her palm, jaw tight. She had interviewed Adikono once, 3 years earlier. He had smiled constantly, answered nothing directly, and ended the interview by complimenting her shoes. Journalism, he had said, is about asking the right questions at the wrong time. She hadn't known whether that was advice or a warning. The state funeral happened quickly. Too quickly. The casket was closed, draped in national colors, surrounded by men who looked solemn because they had practiced it. Cameras hovered like obedient insects. The president spoke of service. The party chairman spoke of sacrifice. The widow spoke only once, thanking the nation for its prayers. No one asked to see the body. No one noticed that the casket never shifted, never settled, never seemed heavy. The city buried Gabriel Adikono before it had time to miss him. 3 weeks later, the city was loud again. Election season arrived like harmattan dust, unavoidable, irritating, everywhere. Walls filled with posters. Street poles bloomed with promises. Voters complained loudly and prepared to vote quietly. Nora had almost fired Adikono away as another powerful man who exited before consequences arrived. Almost. Then she entered a polling unit in Suralia and froze. On the ballot paper, printed neatly in ink that smelled new, was a face she recognized instantly. The same rimless glasses. The same confident smile. The same name. Hon Gabriel Adikono. Dead for 23 days. Alive on paper. She laughed, a sharp, disbelieving sound. An elderly woman behind her hissed for silence. Nora checked another ballot. Same thing. She checked a third. The dead man was running unopposed. By nightfall, social media buzzed, not with outrage, but confusion. Some called it a clerical error. Others joked about Nigerian politics finally becoming honest. A few people asked serious questions. Those questions did not trend. The next morning, the Electoral Commission announced the results. Gabriel Adikono won. Not narrowly. Not suspiciously. Decisively. The minister who had been buried with military honors had just been elected by a landslide. The city paused. Then it exhaled. Then it moved on. Because cities survive by normalizing the impossible. Nora did not move on. She moved backward. She rewatched the funeral footage. Slowed it down. Paused at odd moments. The camera angles avoided the casket's interior with professional precision. She noticed something else. Every official who touched the coffin wore gloves. She visited the cemetery 2 days later. Fresh flowers. Fresh guards. No headstone. Just a temporary plaque with a name that felt borrowed. When she requested the death certificate, the clerk's fingers hesitated on the keyboard. It hasn't been uploaded yet. It's been over a month. The clerk leaned forward. Some files don't like being final, she whispered. Chief Bello Dewodu received her in an office that smelled of leather and expensive silence. He listened patiently as she asked her questions. Then he laughed. You journalists still think power lives in people, he said. But he's dead. Is he? Bello asked, folding his hands? Or is he simply unavailable? That night, Nora's phone vibrated with a message from an unknown number. Stop asking about the dead. They don't like being disturbed. She didn't sleep. Mrs. Adekono lived behind gates that opened without sound. Her house was large but impersonal, as if it had been staged for someone else's life. She wore black, but grief had never learned her name. Did your husband die? Nora asked her directly. Mrs. Adekono studied her for a long moment. He stopped being useful, she said finally. That answer stayed with Nora longer than any confession could have. The inauguration was surreal. A massive portrait of Gabriel Adekono hung behind the podium. Pre-recorded speeches played. His signature stamped documents. Orders were issued in his name. The city obeyed. Contracts flowed. Budgets passed. Projects launched. The dead minister governed efficiently. Better than most living ones. Nora finally understood. Gabriel Adekono had never been the power. He had been the interface. A familiar face. A trusted name. A container. When he died, the system discovered something terrifying. It did not need a replacement. It only needed continuity. A year later, Gabriel Adekono won again. No protest followed. Because by then, the city had learned. In some places, leaders die. But power is immortal. This is Tales by Fire.